Another good strong signal. Could be a coin, you know. Let's see. We're out the hole and somewhere here. There's a circular thing. Maybe a musket ball? No, it's not, because there's two of them. What is that? I was going to say a pair of musket balls, but, you know, from a mould. But I think that's copper, or copper alloy, or maybe even bronze, I suppose. What is that? It's a thing. It almost looks like a toggle, doesn't it? There. Looks like an ancient clothes toggle, but with these two lugs attached. But then again, maybe they're from the casting process. Maybe they hadn't been trimmed off. What do you think? Could that be a toggle for clothing that's just not been finished? Or is it something else? That's a bizarre one. Do let me know in the comments below. Had a wee catch up with Albert. He's got a pocket full of odds and sods, and he's got one coin, which is this one here. It is gone, toasty. It looks like it's going to be probably a Victoria penny again. So I'll put it somewhere between the 1830s and 1901, but it's a coin. There are lots of signals in this field, and I doubt very much if we'll have even covered 0.1% of this field today. So I'm sure there's lots more to come. I have got another good signal. That has blown the ears off, and I don't know if you can spot it. Zoom in. Do you see a little patch of greenery right in the middle of the screen? And I've already had a wee sneaky peep. And that, I think, is coin number 6. Sticking out the ground. It is a very toasty looking. Who have we got? I think it's Gorgeous George. George the 5th. Let's give it a wee rub-a-dub and see. The back is pretty much toasty, however, you can make out the words penny, 1, and 1919, so the year after the end of the Great War, as it was known then, what we now call World War I. And then we've got Georgius the 5th, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, Defender of the Faith, and Emperor of India. You can just make out his moustached face looking to the left. So, as I mentioned before, George V was, unfortunately for him, murdered technically, euthanised by his own doctor, so that they could announce his death in the morning papers. Nice. But coin number 6 for me. Martin's other best find, he's got himself a little lead seal, but it's still got a wire attached. It shows you how it would have been attached to whatever it was on. It's got a shield in the middle, a letter F and a letter, maybe a letter D, I'm not certain. But date wise, probably going to be sometime in the middle half of the 1800s, into the very end of the 1800s, I'm guessing. That's about as good as he's done, other than his silver coin he got earlier. Martin's also got this thing here which looks like it's got something going on it. It might be one of these medallions. We've had a few of these commemorative sort of medallions. It's got that same sort of material, that metal that it's made from. It's like an alloy. It's had 2 holes through it for attaching, suspending, but you can just make out some of the letters at the top there. Who knows? Martin's other finds, buttons and more buttons. That one's a bit of a tomback, would have looked like a silver coin. He's got himself a little sort of ring. Don't know if it's a finger ring or an olive for plumbing. Actually looks more like a finger ring to me.
looks like it says something.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of lettering on the inside. So if it is a finger ring, it's for a very small person. Possibly even a child. Barely fits over my pinky. And yeah, that's about it for Martin. Let's see what Fletch has got. Fletch has got the back of a padlock, and he's got a big lead sort of homemade washer type thing. Oh, he's also turned up a silver. That's a silver threepence. It's another Victoria. There you go. You can see the 3 on the back. What's the date? 1879, I think that is. So that's 3 silver Victorias off the same field. He's also got another one of these lead seals, same as Martin's. A C and an E. So I thought it was an F on Martin's, but I'm guessing it was a C and an F as well. And a G at the top. Some sort of symbol in the middle on the shield. And plain on the back. Date wise, again, I'm going to say middle of the 1800s. And he's got a same as Martin got as well, which is another one of these little lead steel yard weights. Weighs about an ounce, 28 grams, give or take. And that could be any age. Could be medieval, could be even back to the Roman period. Quite crudely made, so it's got a bit of age to it anyway. And what's he got? He's got himself another wee lead seal. I struggle to read anything on that one. It's quite far gone, but it's another one of these Russian lead seals attached to bales of flax. Probably date to the 1850s through to the 1900s. Then lastly, he's got himself the bottom of a little stoneware or salt glaze sort of, I don't know what that would have been. Maybe a cream pot or even an ink pot. There's clearly been some lettering on the side, but I can't quite figure out what it would have said. That'll probably be Victorian in date, 1850s, 1900s. Well done, Mr. Fletch. And another coin for Albert. This is another penny. Again, look at the state of it. It's in bad condition. This field must have been heavily fertilised back in the day. You can just make out the bust of, I think, Victoria. So it's going to be, again, 1830s into the beginning of the 1900s. But it is another coin. Some of Pete's best finds. He's got himself this little decorated coppery thing. I don't know what that is. Maybe a bit of a lady's lipstick, maybe, that's been flattened. And he's got himself a little button with the cipher on it of, I don't know, is it a G and an R, maybe? Maybe. So, probably a military button. Date-wise, likely the 1800s by the look of it. Then he's got himself a couple of coins. He's got himself a threepenny bit. I'll give you those two. He's got himself a threepenny bit, or a threepence, which is 1937. That'll be George the 6th. Can't even make it out. I think there's a head just there. So I'm pretty sure that's George the 6th. And he's then got himself another coin, which actually looks foreign. I think that might be... Ooh. Well, then again, maybe not. Looks like Victoria in the middle.
I thought Victoria, but I wasn't sure.
De Gracia, by the grace of God. Initially I thought it was going to be Napoleon III from France, because it's got that unusual edge around it. No, it's 1898. It's 1 cent. I don't know, maybe that's an Australian coin for the Commonwealth of Australia. What do we reckon, folks? Can't say I've had one of them before, but that is definitely looking like Victoria. But the thing is, it actually looks like a young head Victoria. but she died in 1901, so it would have expected it to look like an old bust. Bit of a rally car going by in the distance. So, if you know what that one is, let us know. A 1 cent, 1898. And it definitely looks like Queen Victoria to me. Well done, Pete. We had a look online and we think that Pete's coin is Canadian. Canadian 1 cent from Queen Victoria. Marty has found this coin and the other one. Now this coin actually looks... I was going to say that could be an old hammered / milled. Going to need to give this a better clean up. Get back to you in a sec. Giving it a little rub-a-dub on the jumper. Found a surface and giving it a wee rub with a magic finger. It is Victoria. You can just make out round the side. Victoria. On the reverse there is Britannia. And it's 1888. I can see a date at the bottom. The year Celtic Football Club was founded.
Yes.
And you can see the letters F-A-R-T-H-I-N-G, farthing. So a farthing is a quarter of a penny. So you don't get many farthings off the fields. And again, it's not in great condition. Let's have a look at his second coin that he got. His other coin is in even worse condition. It is 100% going to be Georgian though. Quite chunky. A little bit irregular around the edges. It's probably going to be George III, which would be 1760 to 1820, but it could be back as far as George I, which would be 1714 to 1727, give or take. But it's another coin. What's that you up to? 4? 3?
3.
3 coins for you. Good, so we're into double figures for coins. And this one is blowing the ears off. That's either a phenomenal silver or gold coin, or tin foil, or aluminium. Let's see. It is none of the above. There we go. Break the soil, and it looks like another of these canvas rings. Albeit it's a little bit more sturdy. Well, maybe not actually. That is, I think, a horse brass. It's quite heavy. That is probably decoration from a boss that would have been either on the saddle or on the sort of reins and harness of a big shire horse that would have pulled the plough back in the day before tractors. Date wise, probably going to be, I don't know, 1800s through to the beginning of the 1900s. Nice. Another good strong signal. Same as before, it's either going to be gold, silver, aluminium, or a horse brass. Let's see what we get. I might actually have another coin just under the surface. There she is. And there we go. Again, it's very, very crusty. It's quite thin though. Could be a bit of age to it, but let's give it a wee rub up and see if we can get some detail. It is indeed another coin. You can just make out the top of a head there. And I think it is looking to the left. And I think it's Victoria, I'm guessing. I don't know, it doesn't seem thick enough to be Victoria. And if it isn't Victoria, then I'm thinking it might be George II. But I've got one of these cleaning pens at home that I've still never used, that I bought at Detectorist. So maybe I'll give it a once over with that, see if we can get some detail. There's definitely some writing up the side there. And the back looks pretty much blank. So I'm going to say George II, which would be what, 1727 to 1760, right in the Jacobite period. But I might be wrong. If you think you know otherwise, then let me know, but it definitely looks a bit irregular in shape and thickness, and a little bit thin to be a Victorian or a George V or something like that. But let me know. I'll give it a clean when I get home. We've got another digger. I can see the telltale colour of off-white, and I think we might have some lead. We've got a lead something. What is that then? I thought it might have been decorated, but no, it's not. It's just a slither of lead that's kind of been folded over. Hey ho, on to the next. A bullet casing for me this time, from a .303 caliber, I believe, rifle. So probably from the sort of war period. There was a military range quite close by through the 1800s into the middle of the 1900s. Final little coin for Mr. Fletch before I disappear. It's a halfpenny, I think it's 1919 again, 1 year after the end of the First World War. Georgius V, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, defender of the faith. Famously married his dead brother's fiancée. I am going to have to leave it there for today. I have got places to go, people to see. I think the boys might be carrying on, but I'm going to have to leave it there. So thank you all for watching. Pretty good signs from this field. Lots of signals. I mean, I think we've all got one or two pocketfuls of items, and between us, I think we're probably on about 15 coins. And I think I managed 6 or 7. We've got 3 bits of silver coinage, all Queen Victoria. So the signs are promising. I guarantee you we haven't even covered 1% of this field so far today. So there will be a lot more to come of that, I'm sure. And with a bit of luck, I'll be hitting 6,000 subscribers very soon. I think I've only got maybe 8 or 10 to go and I'll be there. So thank you all for your support. If you like what you see, give me a sub, and hopefully I'll see you on the next dig. Take care.